Revenge. It's one of the oldest emotions known to humankind, from ancient myths to modern movies, from whispered betrayals to public feuds. The desire for revenge has shaped our stories, our actions, and even our societies. It is something that lies hidden beneath the surface of civility, a dark and dangerous pleasure that we rarely admit to feeling. But almost everyone at some point in life has felt it. The hidden pleasure in revenge is something both mysterious and deeply human, a reflection of our pain, our pride, and our craving for justice when the world feels unfair. When someone wrongs us, when we are humiliated, betrayed, or hurt, something primal awakens inside. It's not a rational calculation, it's a fire, small at first, but that whispers, make them feel what you felt. It's the emotional echo of injustice, the part of our psyche that refuses to be powerless. For centuries, philosophers and religious leaders have told us to forgive, to rise above anger. Yet deep within, there's a quiet voice that finds satisfaction in the idea of revenge. Why? Because revenge in its simplest form offers balance. It makes the scales feel even again, at least for a moment. To understand this hidden pleasure, we have to step into the human mind, into the strange and complex machinery of emotion. Neuroscientists have actually studied what happens in the brain when a person imagines or carries out revenge. When someone experiences the thought of retribution, the same reward centers that activate for pleasure, like food, money, or success, begin to light up. It's the brain's dopamine system, whispering a small, dangerous promise. This will feel good. It's as if our biology is telling us that justice is delicious, that pain can somehow be repaid by inflicting pain in return. But this pleasure, this momentary satisfaction is deceptive. It feels like a release, but often it's just another chain binding us to the person who wronged us. Still, for that brief instant, revenge feels empowering. It's the reclaiming of control after feeling helpless. It's the emotional equivalent of standing up and shouting after being silenced. That's what makes it so intoxicating. It's not only about hurting the other person, it's about feeling alive again. Throughout history, revenge has been celebrated as much as it has been condemned. In ancient Rome, the idea of an eye for an eye was not just a moral principle, it was law. It was balance through punishment. In Shakespeare's plays, revenge drives some of the most powerful stories ever told. Think of Hamlet, pacing the cold corridors of his castle, consumed by the need to avenge his father. His every thought, every word, soaked in the poison of vengeance. And yet, we understand him, like we sympathize with him, because his anger feels human, his suffering feels real. In modern times, revenge has become entertainment. Our movies are filled with heroes who take justice into their own hands, from John Wick avenging his dog, to countless stories of betrayed lovers, fallen soldiers, and wronged families. We cheer for them. We want them to win. Deep down, we want to feel that same release. Watching them, we experience revenge safely. We taste its pleasure without facing its consequences. It's storytelling's most seductive emotion. But let's pause here and look deeper. Why do we feel that revenge brings pleasure at all? Why does the thought of payback feel so satisfying, even when it may destroy us? The answer lies in the way our brains are wired for fairness. Humans, unlike most animals, have a powerful sense of justice. We crave order, balance, reciprocity. When someone violates that balance, it's not just anger, it's an emotional wound. Revenge feels like stitching that wound shut, like correcting a cosmic error. Yet, ironically, the act of revenge rarely heals. It often deepens the scar. Psychologists have found that people who take revenge are less happy in the long run than those who let go. At first, they feel relief, but over time, the memories resurface. They replay what happened. They rethink their actions, and slowly, guilt replaces pleasure. The satisfaction fades, leaving behind a strange emptiness, because revenge doesn't truly restore what was lost. It only mirrors the pain. It reflects the same darkness back into our hearts. Still, the temptation persists. It hides in quiet corners of our minds, in thoughts we never speak aloud. Sometimes it comes in small forms, a harsh word, a subtle act of defiance, a secret wish for someone's failure. Other times, it's grand and destructive, changing lives forever. Yet in all its forms, the pleasure of revenge is tied to one powerful illusion, the illusion that we can rewrite the past, that by hurting someone back, we can undo what they did to us. But time doesn't work that way. Pain doesn't erase pain, it multiplies it. But if revenge is so destructive, why do we still crave it? Why does it linger in our hearts like forbidden fruit? Because at its core, revenge isn't just about punishment, it's about identity. When we are hurt, our sense of self feels violated. Someone's action has told us, you are powerless, you are less, you don't matter. Revenge whispers the opposite. You are strong, you matter, you can fight back. In that sense, revenge is an attempt to rebuild dignity, to restore self-respect through defiance. It's not just emotional, it's existential. And yet true strength often lies not in revenge, but in restraint. Forgiveness, as difficult as it is, has been shown to heal the mind in ways revenge never can. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or excusing. It means releasing yourself from the emotional trap. It means refusing to let someone else's cruelty define who you are. But forgiveness rarely gives that immediate jolt of pleasure that revenge does. It's quiet, slow, and invisible to others. That's why revenge often feels more tempting. It's dramatic, it's visible, it feels like action. Still, the human heart is not purely moral or purely rational. We live in the tension between justice and mercy, between anger and compassion, and somewhere within that tension lies the hidden pleasure of revenge. It's a psychological phenomenon that tells us how deeply we crave fairness, and how easily our desire for balance can turn into destruction. There's a strange truth about revenge that poets and thinkers have always known. It doesn't only hurt the one we target, it transforms us. It makes us more like the person we despise. Every act of revenge, no matter how justified, carries a silent cost, a piece of our peace. The philosopher Francis Bacon once wrote, "A man that studieth revenge keeps his own wounds green." In other words, by feeding the fire of revenge, we stop the wound from healing. We live in the past, chained to the very pain we wanted to escape. And yet in that dark pursuit, there's still something undeniably human. To want revenge is to feel deeply. It's to care, perhaps too much, about justice, about respect, about what's right. It's the shadow side of love and empathy. The same emotions that make us capable of compassion also make us capable of vengeance. When love turns to hate, when care turns to fury, revenge is the echo. It's the emotional aftershock of being betrayed by someone we once trusted. Think about how it feels when that desire first arises. Your chest tightens, your thoughts race. You replay the moment of hurt again and again. Every time you imagine payback, you feel a little spark, a sense of power returning. That's the hidden pleasure. It's not always about causing pain. Sometimes it's about feeling in control again, about reclaiming your story. For a few seconds, the victim becomes the victor. That's what makes revenge feel so seductive, so satisfying, and so dangerous. But imagine this. Imagine you get what you wanted. You see the person suffer, or you succeed in your plan. The moment arrives. And for a brief instant, you feel that thrill, that pulse of triumph. But then, as the silence settles, something strange happens. You realize nothing inside you has truly changed. The pain remains, the past remains. And now, a new guilt joins it, the knowledge that you've become a part of the same cycle that once hurt you. That is the paradox of revenge. It promises release, but delivers imprisonment. Still, it's important to understand that revenge itself is not evil. It's natural. It's part of our emotional survival system. In ancient times, revenge acted as a deterrent. It told others, if you harm me, there will be consequences. It kept order in societies where law didn't exist. Even today, that instinct remains buried deep in our DNA. But the problem is, in a civilized world, that instinct often collides with morality. Our society runs on law and empathy, not instinct and retaliation. Yet the primitive brain doesn't always listen to logic. It still craves that taste of justice, that psychological reward that says balance has been restored. And maybe that's why revenge continues to fascinate us. It's both villain and hero. It's the darkness we fear and the fire we secretly admire. In revenge stories, we project our own pain and desires. We see ourselves in the avenger, the person brave enough to do what we only imagine. But life isn't a movie. In real life, revenge has consequences that ripple far beyond the moment of action. It breaks families, friendships, and sometimes entire lives. What begins as justice often ends as regret. Yet still, that hidden pleasure remains. We can't deny it. When someone who hurt us fails or suffers in some way, even by chance, there's a small, involuntary satisfaction. We might feel guilty for it, but it's there. It's the human heart's unfiltered reaction to fairness being restored, even by accident. It's not cruelty, it's emotion. The hidden pleasure of revenge reveals how sensitive we are to harm, how deeply we value justice, and how connected emotion is to morality. But imagine for a moment that instead of revenge, you chose reflection. Instead of acting on the fire, you watched it burn itself out. What happens then? Slowly, the heat fades, the pain softens. And in that quiet space, you begin to see clearly. You realize that revenge might feel powerful, but peace feels stronger. Forgiveness may not give you the same rush, but it gives you something longer lasting, freedom. You walk away not because they deserve peace, but because you do. Still, the mind doesn't forget. Even when we forgive, the memory remains. The emotion fades, but the lesson stays. And maybe that's where true revenge lies, not in hurting someone back, but in living well despite them, to succeed where they hoped you'd fail, to rise higher, to find joy, to grow. That kind of revenge doesn't destroy, and it rebuilds. It's silent but powerful. It's not the pleasure of the moment, it's the satisfaction of a lifetime. In the end, revenge tells us more about ourselves than about the people who hurt us. It shows us what we value, what we fear, and how deeply we can feel. It exposes the duality of the human spirit, capable of compassion and cruelty, mercy and rage. The hidden pleasure in revenge is not evil. It's a reflection of our longing for balance, for fairness, for emotional closure. But as with all hidden pleasures, it comes with a price. So the next time you feel that familiar fire, when someone betrays you, mocks you, or takes something from you, pause. Feel the anger, acknowledge it. Let yourself imagine what revenge would look like, and then let it pass. Because while revenge may offer a brief taste of power, it's peace that nourishes the soul. The sweetest revenge is not destruction, it's transformation. Revenge is a mirror. It reflects our pain, our pride, and our deepest desires. But when we look long enough into that mirror, we begin to see that the real victory lies not in making others suffer, but in proving that their cruelty didn't define us, that we are more than what happened to us. And that is the most powerful kind of revenge there is. So yes, there is a hidden pleasure in revenge, a thrill, a satisfaction, a spark that feels almost irresistible. But that pleasure is fleeting, a mirage that fades as soon as you touch it. True strength comes not from feeding that desire, but from mastering it, because the ultimate revenge is living without hatred in your heart and without the need to hurt others just to feel whole again. And when you reach that point, when you no longer crave revenge, when you find peace where anger used to live, that's when you've truly won, not just over them, but over yourself. And that victory, that calm, is the kind of pleasure that no act of revenge can ever give.